everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel where today I'm going to do my book haul for the month of May. I got a good variety of books this month and I'm really excited to share them with you, so let's get into this. First book I picked up is Dreamology by Lucy Keating, which isn't something I would normally read, but I'm quite excited for it regardless. This to me sounds like one of those books that when you finish a really good book and you don't know what to read next, you pick up this one just because it's quite light and fluffy and cute. And this story is basically about a girl who has a dream boyfriend named Max and they're madly in love in her dreams, but she always thinks Max isn't real until she starts at a new school and there's Max. And I'm sure they're probably going to fall in love, but it's going to be about the differences between Dream Max and Real Max. And again, it just sounds like a really cute, easy to read story, so I'm quite looking forward to this one. This next one is another debut novel and it's Not If I See You First by Erik Lindstrom. And I don't know that much about this book apart from that the story is centered on a blind girl and there's some braille on the cover, but I remember people raving about this because I think it came in a different subscription box to OwlCrate. Maybe it was a Lumacrate or something, but people really enjoyed it, so I'm quite interested to read this one and see where the story goes. Next up I got All About Love New Visions by Bell Hooks, which is the March book for Our Shared Shelf, and I've already finished and really enjoyed. I thought there were some really great passages in it and a lot of really quotable material, and I won't say that it was like enlightening or it changed my outlook, but I definitely enjoyed reading it. I also picked up How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran, which is the April book for Our Shared Shelf, and I haven't read this yet. I've heard kind of mixed things about it, but I'm still really interested to read this because I've never read anything by Caitlin Moran and I know she's quite a prolific figure in the feminist movement. Next up I grabbed Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo, which are the second and third books in the Grisha trilogy. I read the first book in this series in January and have since wanted to read these two but never seen the same edition as the first book I own in stores, and I finally found it, so I bought both of them and I am really excited to read these two and then read Six of Crows. I picked up a few comics this month because I really enjoy comics, and one of the ones I grabbed is Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol, which I've heard a lot of great things about. The story is basically about this high schooler who one day falls down a well and she meets a ghost down there and they kind of form this relationship, and I think it's just mostly about the ways that they interact and all that sort of stuff, and it sounds really good. I've already had a flick through and the art style looks awesome and I just love comics, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this one. Another comic I grabbed is Volume 2 of Saga, which I've already read and absolutely loved. I think this series is so clever and beautiful. I really loved that in this volume we get more information about the history between these two sides of the war, and I love the dynamic between the family on the ship, and it's just so entertaining and I can't wait to read more. The final comic that I picked up is Alex and Ada Volume 1. This series is only 3 volumes and it's complete, so I figure even if I don't love it, it's quite an easy series to power through. But this is like a sci-fi drama about a realistic android and the guy she is with. And I don't really know that much about it, but I've heard a couple of people really rave about it and say it's one of their favorites, so I'm really keen to read this one. This next book is one that I haven't actually heard that many people talk about, so if you have read it, let me know what you've thought down in the comments, but it's Wolf in White Van by John Darnielle. And I don't know that much about the story of this. I know it's about a guy with like a disfiguring injury who runs a text-based world game or something. I don't even really know how that would work, but I think it's about the adventure within that game and how it starts to take on real world repercussions at the same time as we're finding out what happened to this guy in his past that means he now doesn't leave the house. And it sounds really cool, and this paperback is really tiny and adorable, so I don't think it'll take me long to read when I get around to it. This final book in my book haul is one that I was never that interested in, but it's the first book in a series that recently people have been going kind of crazy over because the last book came out and it's just really intrigued me. So when I saw it, I picked it up, and it's The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, which is a 4-book series, I think, and it's complete. And I don't know that much about it, but it does sound like a really intriguing story with some kind of paranormal and fantasy aspects to it, so I'm really hoping that I enjoy this, and I'm thinking I will read this next month. So that's it for my book haul, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have read any of the books that I acquired this month, let me know what you thought of them down in the comments section. I upload videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned on those days for more bookish goodness. Toodaloo!